All right. Good evening and good night, and welcome to the It's Your Perspective Talk Show. It is Tuesday, October 27th, 2015. It's about 8:10 p.m. My name is David, aka Kimba, aka Christian. This is the It's Your Perspective Talk Show every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, weekly at 8 p.m. until. We do have a telephone number tonight, 340-201-9005. You can also text us on that number as well. Most importantly, you have to go to our website, streaming live from the vi.com. Go to that website, click on the link that says Watch Us Live, and you'll be able to see the show tonight because we do have a special guest in the studio. We do have email. Our email address is streaminglive from the vi@yahoo.com. For our guest tonight, just need to let her know that we're in a high-tech, low-tech studio coming to you from an undisclosed location here in St. Croix, Virgin Islands. No radio, no TV, internet only, which means that you have to get your Android, your Apple iPhone, your iPad, your tablet, your Mac or your Windows PC. Open up your browser, type in streaming live from the vi.com. You'll be able to see the show tonight. As I said, we do have a special guest. All our recorded live shows are on YouTube and Ustream.tv. Check them all out. Our channel is It's Your Perspective Talk Show. We have 2 Facebook pages. Definitely want to give a shout out to CHS class of 1982. That's the year that I'm representing. Shout out to Vanessa, Julie, Sharice, Roshima Quiet Storm Smith, Audrey Brown, Jeanette Guzman. Hopefully I'm not missing anybody. Thank you ladies for helping us out in the past with the shows. And most importantly, to all our guests that have come on, thank you so much for believing in what we're doing here. We're on Twitter. Hit us up at VI Perspective. Tweet with us. We're moving straight forward and up. The show's mission is just to inform, entertain, and empower everyone. And as we move on here, we do have a special guest in the studio tonight. There she is right there. Sommer Sibilly-Brown. Wave to the crowd right now. They are seeing you right now. So welcome to our studio here. And just wanted to have you come on a little bit and talk about what you're doing, the Virgin Islands Good Foods Coalition. Is that with an S on there?
Yeah, Good Food.
Food? Okay, I'll fix that shortly here. So welcome to our studio. This is my first time meeting you, so I'm not exactly, I guess you'll fill me in on all the details. So tell us a little bit about what the coalition is all about.
All right, so the Virgin Islands Good Food Coalition is basically about food security, food sovereignty, and food sustainability for the Virgin Islands. We started in 2012, and it really started as the Virgin Islands Farm to School initiative. I was working at Ricardo Richards Elementary School, and we were working on trying to get our garden started, and that quickly grew to a strategic planning session, trying to get a territorial farm to school program going. And what we found were there were some huge gaps in between private sector, government, and we wanted to become the gap filler. So Good Food Coalition is really the gap filler for what we feel will help us move our agricultural situation forward. We communicate across sector to create a comprehensive plan that would benefit all of us.
Okay, so if I understood you correctly, you guys had a garden. We're growing a garden in school?
Yes, the desire was to start a garden. The garden is actually being started this year.
Okay. So what are some of the things you'll be growing there?
Some of the things that they're going to be growing there, I don't know yet because I am no longer with Ricardo Richards. I'm hoping there'll be strawberries.
Okay.
Their signature. But it's really about having the students figure out what it is they want to grow.
Okay.
And so no adult hopefully has say of what we'll be growing. They're going to look at the soil content, see what it's good for growing.
Okay.
And then they're going to decide on their crops. But like I said, I'm hoping there's some strawberries in there.
Okay. So as a coalition, you're sort of in between, you said, between the school and the government?
So we started out wanting to be between the school and the government. We started out having conversations with my school and USDA, and quickly realized that we found gaps between farmers and the Department of Agriculture, between the farmers and the market, like a larger market, like the school lunch market, the DOD fresh market. So in market development, so our farmers have a place to put their consistent supply, there needed to be a plan developed. And so we kind of fell into that role where we wanted to do comprehensive strategic development, where we could say in year 1, our goal is to target schools. Year 2, our goal is to target private businesses who could use us. Year 3, we want to grow to the hospitals and other government entities that have food supplies. So it was across the territory, or it is across the territory, but it's a very strategic plan to move agriculture forward.
Okay. And so you say they're going to be starting to grow this year?
Yes, Ricardo Richards is starting their garden this year.
Okay. So how long has it been? Has it been a couple years to date now?
It's been 3 years. We started in 2012. And I have to say, on my behalf, the garden could have been started a lot quicker, because starting a garden is one thing. Making sure that every school has the opportunity to have a garden became the larger challenge. So I started with Ricardo Richards, but quickly realized that we have legislation that legislates that every school, public school from K to 12, should have access to garden, and agricultural education in their schools. So I wanted to make that come to fruition. And it's not just me. I have a team of people whom I work with, because I have worked in conjunction with the Department of Agriculture. I have worked with Cooperative Extension Service. I consistently work with 4-H. And so the reason we use the word coalition is because it's not just me. It's a place where all agricultural advocates can come together and pick one target. This is our target, and we can go about our business and achieve.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit more about. You said you're hoping that they grow strawberries. You said strawberries, but isn't that kind of a strange thing to grow? I mean,
strawberries would be a strange thing to grow here for us. I mean, so I am sure the majority of their garden is going to be tropical fruits. So they may have to do papaya, they may have to do thyme, they may have to do bush teas, seasonings. They could even go into root crops like cassava and pumpkin. Cucumbers, lettuces, those things grow well here. The reason why I said strawberries, because, we joke strawberries are a mascot and not many places can grow their mascot, but growing food is important. Okay.
So is this going to reach out to all the schools, or just they're going to be the pilot? And
so Ricardo Richards is my pilot school, but it will reach all the schools. The idea is to work so that every school has garden-based education, that teachers have the benefit of the resource, the financial resource, the human resource, because that's a challenge, the human resource and the know-how, so we can integrate agriculture across the curriculum. To create opportunities for our students to excel. But really, for me, it's about building the next generation farmer. Because the average farmer in the Virgin Islands is over 50.
Yes, I actually heard that, yes. So these are high school kids, right?
No, some of them will be elementary school kids. So we're looking at elementary to high school, K through 12.
To 12, okay. So, I mean, how do they feel about being a farmer? I mean, I guess ones that are interested, I mean, do they have a real interest in being a farmer?
So I can't speak for every school, but what I think has happened, what I surmise, is that kids don't even really think about being farmers. So where we're starting, where we quickly realize we have to go back to, is raising awareness, putting agriculture back on the map as a valid occupation choice. Turning it from a hobby into a business. So we have to collect some data and show people the dollars and cents, so our young people can find agriculture attractive. It's about food security, and if we can't feed ourselves, we're going to be in a lot of trouble, unfortunately. So it's a much needed.
So how big is the garden?
Ricardo Richards' garden, like I said, they're just starting up. So I don't know the measurements. I don't know the measurements because I left them last year, January, to pursue. So before I used to work for Ricardo, and then I left in January to pursue Virgin Islands Good Food Coalition full-time. Because it just demanded that amount of work.
Oh, really? Okay. So what do you when you say full-time, what are you doing full-time-ish with the coalition?
So what do I do full-time-ish? I definitely spend a lot of time researching grants that we could potentially apply for. Advocating and speaking to people about the importance of agriculture, I spend a lot of time doing the next step because that strategic plan has a lot of moving parts. We have a lot of deficits. So I work with a development consultant, Tiffany Pennick, Developing Solutions Consulting Agency.
Okay.
And she spends a lot of time with me just making sure that we have a tight, comprehensive plan so that anytime if money becomes available, we can say, here, this is one way we can move forward. I spend a lot of time networking with farmers, getting to know them and them getting to know me, because one thing we need to do is develop trust. And not just with farmers, but with the community, because I am new to this. So to make sure that we're building something that has strong infrastructure, that can be successful, but really have a great social impact.
Okay. Are you a farmer?
I am not a farmer.
Okay.
Brown thumbs.
I got you. So what kind of programs are out there available? What programs that you're supporting?
Well, right now, Good Food Coalition has 4 primary projects.
Okay.
We have the Virgin Islands Farm to School Initiative, which is working to prepare a territorial comprehensive farm to school plan, and that's like a 10-year plan initially. We have the Funda Farm. My Virgin Islands Good Food is a sponsored project of the St. Croix Foundation, and so Funda Farm really is to increase charitable giving to school-based gardens and to farmers. Let's say there's a drought, or which we just experienced, or there's you lose your crops, or you don't have enough insurance. You could identify a farm that you want to give to, but because a lot of farms aren't nonprofits, you can give through Virgin Islands Good Food. You could specify, I would like this to go to GLG Farms.
Okay.
And the money will be funneled through me and go to that farmer.
Okay. So the money can be used for whatever they see fit?
Yeah, and the donor can specify.
Okay.
You can say, I want this to go to operational costs. You can say, I want this to go to seedling purchase. You know, I want to help your insurance campaign, so the donor can specify. And that money goes through the foundation.
Okay.
So it's tax credit. You can receive tax credit for your donations, and it's documented. We also are pushing to do a comprehensive territorial food assessment. We talk a lot about importing 98% of our food. We talk a lot about the need to grow agriculture, but we haven't really assessed across the territory where we are in food. What are people consuming? In what amounts? Where does the revenue source come for food? What percentage is food stamps? What percentage is, regular general income? What percentage needs to be subsidized? How many people have hungry homes? All of those things help us assess the market. What are farmers growing? What is seasonally available? Where is the arable land? Where can you grow certain things? How are we using our natural resources? I'm sure that there is information that our agencies are connected, but there's not a comprehensive document that a person could look at and say, well, I want to know where all the farms are on St. Croix, and pull up a map and bloop, 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 and you could click on Seja Farms and see what they're growing. But even for other people interested in writing grants, because we don't have access to the food data, how can I write a really strong grant without the numbers? Because in grants, the numbers also tell the story. I need some statistics. And so we're doing a territorial comprehensive food assessment.
Has that started already, or is that something up and coming?
That is something up and coming. We tried to apply for a grant for it last year, and we missed the deadline. Actually, we submitted it, and it was like 501, and they bounced it back. And so we're going to go after it again this year.
Oh, really?
To really, because that data gives us a strong base for any person who wants to apply for a grant, not just me, any person interested in food. And then lastly, we try our best to do food education. That's our new Food Learn is our new endeavor, in which we're partnering with the Department of Tourism for Dine VI. And Food Learn is basically food and farm education, and we're targeting the youth. Because like I said, in order to breed new farmers, to have new people invested in agriculture, we need to raise awareness.
So let's talk about the Food Learn program. So teaching youth about farming and growing, and how to produce vegetables and fruit and that kind of thing, correct?
Yeah, and well, Food Learn is a little bit more than teaching them about the growing. It's giving people the awareness that food is commonplace and everybody's invested.
Okay.
And so what your investment looks like is different. If you're a foodie, you're invested when you go to a restaurant and you sit down and you eat, and what is the quality of the food on the plate that I'm eating, and where is it sourced.
So you said foodie?
Yeah, a foodie, a person who enjoys partaking in delicious food, and you find fine dining and cultural food exciting, and there's people who like to eat.
Okay.
I'm one of them, but really who have a great appreciation for food.
For food, yeah.
If it's for students who may be thinking about becoming chefs or restaurateurs, and so figuring out how what's locally sourced fits into a business model. It's for marketing students, so they can realize that, hey, I might not be into agriculture, but understanding agriculture opens up a business market for me, because we have a lot of farmers who need branding and rebranding.
Okay.
It's for tourism. Where does food fit into the people who visit us?
Yes.
It's for the person who wants to be in the National Guard. Food security. How much of what is grown here locally, in case there was an emergency, what would we do with our food? Where's our food storage? Where should we be collecting food from? Really, food is an integral part. There's air, there's water, and then there's food. Mm-hmm. And so these are the things that we want to impart on these young people, but also that it's fun, but it applies to everybody, not just, because it's not just farming. Food speaks to the quality of life. It's for the person who's interested in health.
Okay.
The quality of the food you eat, how is that affecting the human living body, and how can we ensure healthier Virgin Islanders who may understand food portions, food combinations, and even, so they don't suffer with obesity, because they have better eating habits than some of us had the chance to develop.
Okay. So is this something that's going to be taught in school?
So Food Learn is not to be taught in school. We can come to your school, and we want to do push-ins and pull-outs, because we want to develop relationships with schools and teachers and their programs. But this specific event takes 9th through 12th graders, and we have some junior high, and we pull them out. And in the morning, they go on farm tours, and they go to 3 separate type of farms. We're doing a school-based garden, we're doing a livestock and produce garden, and then we're doing a non-traditional garden, which is a aquaponic, hydroponic part. And they're going to ask them all the same questions. What is your yield? Is this profitable? What are some of your challenges? Where do you see food going? What do you think we need to do differently? I really want them to, so in the morning when we meet, I give the challenge to the audience that this is what you'll be doing. This is your job. You're discovering. When after the farm tour, so they spend about a half an hour there, then we meet up at Loette's Museum, where they're having a 3-course meal prepared by a foodie, Chef Frank Pugliese. He is preparing a locally sourced meal, and so that means to the maximum extent that we could, we got it here. And so it'll be stewed goat over basmati brown rice as the entree. It's coming with a fresh salad, and he's making a delectable cake. It's a pound cake, but it's with a pineapple syrup drizzle that he's working on all now. And then there's a vegetarian option, which is just the stew. So so we have stewed lamb, and then we have the stew.
The stew by itself.
And so then you sit. And now that you've gotten all this information, you sit, and it's youth and it's community stakeholders. And so we're putting you together so they can take that information and now talk to the adults that are at their table. That's the challenge. Have a conversation. Tell them what you heard, where farmers think food should go. And hopefully some of the adults will have their own ideas. And so now it's intergenerational, but we're going across, making sure that we're making new leaders who understand food, passing information up to the people who currently have an opportunity to affect policy, which is the everyday citizen, can say this is what we're aware of and this is where we're going. Just kind of, like I said, stand in the gap and bridge it. So from one generation to a next, we're starting to really think about some solid food solutions.
And so what else potentially would you learn in this program called Food Learn?
So what else? Some of the kids might have never had goat before. They're going to find out the value or the nutritional value of goat. they're going to find out how it's raised, how it's cared for. There are going to be some etiquette lessons.
Okay.
So they get to see how you set a table, how you eat, because that's a challenge when we need to create opportunities for our young people to understand fine dining and different things of etiquette. These children are preparing to go to college.
Yes.
And, your boss might invite you to a dinner. And I've been in a situation where I didn't know what fork to use because when you eat at home, you eat.
Yeah.
But when you have 3 spoons and 3 forks and something spread out in the front, that could be a bit intimidating. And so in an effort to prepare them for a global experience, they're going to have an opportunity to look at how the table is set.
Okay.
And an opportunity to have dinner conversations. So at each table, well, in this case, lunch conversations, there's a table topic. And that is your charge, to conversate with the people at your table about what that general topic is. So that I hope the table topic is the stimulation to keep conversation going.
They would be talking about food?
Food.
Okay. I would think that would be the main topic.
So, one table topic is food justice.
Okay.
How many people know what food justice is? Have you ever heard of?
Food justice?
Yeah, food justice. And food justice basically says that every individual has the right to healthy, fresh food. That's the premise.
Okay.
Every individual has that right, but we don't see food as something to, at least here, I feel like we haven't started to see how that implies the layers that we live. Like we assume everybody has access to fresh fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
But they don't.
Okay.
We should.
Okay.
And so another thing is hunger. World hunger here. Food distribution. Aggregation, how we collect. So I'm going to be throwing out some buzz terms like food hubs, just thought-provoking for both the children and the adults to try to figure out, what do you know about this, or don't you know, or should I research this? And we have some strategically placed people who have enough information that they can fortify conversations. So at each table, there is some sort of agricultural expert or a person who's living in the field as a farmer, working in the field as cooperative extension service, or as a teacher to help fortify those conversations to keep them going and make sure that they're meaty and good.
Okay, so you say food justice. So what are some other food terminology that you have?
So food justice is one. Food hubbing.
What is food hubbing?
So a food hub is another way that you would. It's collaboration amongst farmers.
Okay.
And so it's a friendlier word to me than co-op, because co-ops kind of have like this structure.
Okay.
But 4 farmers could decide that we're just going to collect our food together and we're going to distribute it together. And really, yes, there could be formal paperwork done, but usually farmers do this already without, it's like, okay, well, you have cucumber and I have this, and my lady needed tomato, so you take, they do this already. So it's just bringing awareness to how we collaborate in agriculture to make a whole product happen.
Okay. What else? Food, and then what else? So these are your coined phrases, or these are sort of bigger than?
These are bigger than me. I tell people this is funny. Nobody laugh. But really, I worked at Cooperative Extension Service in my former years, so I'm not totally new to agriculture. However, a lot of what I do comes from personal research. I am always Googling. I am on the NIFA page. I am on the SARE page. I am on the USDA's page. I am looking at what the United States is doing in terms of creating healthy food systems. And now bringing that information here. So none of it is mine originally.
Yes.
But these are definitely ideas that I think are worth spreading.
Spreading here in the Virgin Islands.
And what I love about them is that they already have formulas. I can go on the internet and Google community food assessment, find an assessment and adapt it, see what is needed here, and make and use a tool that's already created, so I don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Okay, I got you.
And there's people you can pick up the phone and said, so you did this in Arizona. The Virgin Islands is really different, but where do you suggest I start? And I've done a lot of that, and people have been very, very receptive to saying, I would like to help you.
Okay. So on the national level, what is the Department of Agriculture doing?
I have to... I
as
can
far as programs and that kind of thing?
I I wish I can't speak to the programs that they're doing, but I do know that the Department of Agriculture has been very willing to support. You know, when you call and say, "Hey, I have an idea and I want to work with some kids in a youth garden," they say, "Tell me what I can do to help."
Okay.
I've had several meetings with past Commissioner Lewis Peterson and present Commissioner Robles,
Yes.
and I have to say that they have wholeheartedly been open to embracing good food and saying whatever you need, Ms. Brown, to support, we got you. And when they
They're willing to
can,
help. Yeah.
they do.
Okay.
So and cooperative extension has been the same, where when you go in and you speak to someone from cooperative extension, you say, "This is where I want to go." They say, however we can help, and they've helped.
Okay. Okay.
So a lot of times we hear things like, "Oh, they ain't doing nothing." No. In my experience, once they can help, they can help.
They will help.
They will help.
They will help, yeah.
And so we've had some successes together. We held the first Farm to School conference in the territory.
Okay.
Good Food applied for the grant with the Department of Education, and we were awarded. And we coordinated the first Farm to School conference, and we had 100 people participate. And it was all about to raise awareness of what Farm to School is.
When was that?
That was this May.
Okay, this past May? Okay.
This past May, and the Department of Agriculture was involved, Cooperative Extension was involved, the Department of Education was involved. We had farmers involved. We had Frank Pugliese, again, he was involved in a youth cooking endeavor. We had a guest chef come from the States, Chef Kevin Fonzo. He came down and he was involved, and it was really, so a lot of people are open to moving agriculture forward. And that's why I picked the word coalition, because one person, this is not a job for one person. This is not a job for one group.
Yes.
This is a job for the people of the Virgin Islands,
okay,
for us to assess where we are in food and to move forward together.
Okay. So this is the Virgin Islands Good Food Coalition. So what's happening, sort of the same things, or do you have a counterpart in St. Thomas that's sort of doing what you do?
At this time, no. What happens is I go to St. Thomas.
Okay.
I don't get to go there as frequently.
Okay.
So I have developed relationships with farmers. They have expressed a desire to do some things over here. But we really are grassroots, like from the ground up, like building dollar by dollar and brick by brick to kind of make this happen.
Make this happen,
So
yeah.
we haven't expanded to St. Thomas yet in the way that I would like to.
Okay.
But we're going to get there, hopefully.
Okay. Okay. So we're going to take, you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, she's good. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Stand by. This is the HR Perspective Talk Show every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Today is Tuesday, October 27th, 2015. It's about 8:40 p.m. My name is David, a.k.a. Kimba, a.k.a. Christian, and we do have a special guest in the studio tonight, Sommer Sibilly-Brown. There she is. Wave again to the crowd. They're seeing you again. And I guess when we were in our first little session there, we had a couple text messages come in. And if I could just sort of paraphrase what they're asking me here without screwing up the intent here. Someone is asking, how many farmers accept SNAP benefits? And do you think their prices are affordable for underprivileged households that would like to eat more local foods, organic in parentheses?
Okay, so how many households accept SNAP benefits? I wouldn't have the
No,
answer.
how many farmers accept accept SNAP benefits?
Right now, from my count, and it could be wrong, but I know of one. Seja Farms accepts SNAP benefits.
Okay.
I believe that Ridge to Reef Farm will also be accepting SNAP benefits.
Okay.
If there are any other farmers who are accepting SNAP benefits, I haven't been informed yet, but there really is a push for them to accept SNAP benefits. In the question is if the food is affordable. I have to say, anywhere in the world when you purchase local, it's a little pricier. But especially for us, because when you take into consideration the backhoe that you have to ship in to plow your land,
yes,
if you have your own backhoe, the cost of water, as well as the seedlings. A lot of what our farmers have to do here is they have to import, so that accounts to some of the cost of the food. Also in the United States, a lot of the large farms, they use immigrant labor.
Yes.
So you're paying them at a lower rate. Here, when you have farm hands, they're expected to make minimum wage.
Yes.
That goes into the cost of the food as well. But when you look at how long the food lasts, so you could buy something, you buy a cucumber, and you buy it from a general store, and it lasts in your fridge for 3 days. 5 days, let's give it 5 days. But you buy a cucumber from a local store, from a local farmer, and it lasts you for 2 weeks because it was harvested closer to its ripening point. So there's way more nutritional benefit, but the actual produce lasts longer. So even though you paid more for it, in the term of the shelf life and the nutrients, it's really
should be longer.
It's longer. Higher nutrients, and it should last longer.
Should
but
remain fresh a little longer, yeah.
But I do admit that it is, so the food does seem higher than if you were to purchase it someplace else. But there is additional values, and I think that you have to balance that budget because you know your household. So there will be some things that you can buy locally. And then, there will be some things where you say, well, even though I would appreciate getting this, I'm going to have to pass because this food have to last me
a little longer.
So really those things boil down to personal choice. But they're tremendous health benefits, and how it's grown. You can ask how it, what pesticides, what was used on it. So it's really, you have a better sense of where your food's coming from.
Okay, and then also too, we have a couple of people here just saying that you're doing a great job. I guess they're tuned in wherever they are.
Thank
you.
They're
saying that Sommer's doing a great job. So as we move on here, let's talk a little bit about Dine VI and the role that your organization is playing with Dine VI.
Okay.
So let's jump right into that. How is that all working? What's the connection there?
Well, Dine VI basically really wants to highlight the unique and fabulous food scene we have here in the Virgin Islands. And when I spoke with tourism first, I was really excited about bringing that perspective to the type of foods that are available, even the restaurant style experiences, like how many of our children have had the opportunity to sit and kind of experience fine dining and combine that with food education. And so when I was given the opportunity to submit a proposal of what Food Learn would be, I was really, really, really excited, number one, that tourism was thinking about the youth, that is awesome to have our government agencies really taking time and focusing, like, we're doing this, but we need to make sure that we have a youth component.
Okay.
And also excited that they were willing to give me a chance, because Virgin Islands Good Food is relatively young.
Okay.
We're 3 years old, and really, Food Learn and Dine VI, while Dine VI is highlighting our local scene, I'm taking this as an opportunity to shift consumer thinking.
Okay.
Because every dollar spent local has the opportunity to multiply, and I say 5 times, some people say 3 times. But if I spend $1, if you spend $1 with me and I spend $1 on you, Kimba, and Kimba, you spend $1 on somebody else, before it leaves our economy, it circulates.
It circulates, yeah.
And so Dine VI is giving money, number one, local money, and money from away, the opportunity to circulate via the food scene.
Okay.
But we're using this also to educate children on what that looks like.
Okay.
Why purchasing local is important. Why and the fabulous things that do happen here, and where you can go to get some really good experiences.
Okay.
But also to build relationships with restaurants for these young people.
So you're going to have a food learn like seminar during the Dine VI week? Is that how this is going to work, or how?
So we're this year we're the first day. We're October 28th, Wednesday, October 28th, which is tomorrow. So we are the first. So youth kicks off Dine VI, and basically, so the kids day is from 9 to 2. But from 12 to 2, we are open for the general public. It's $35. You can come down and you can get a seat and be part of this Food Learn event, where we will be sharing information and talking and listening to the perspective of our youth, since they've now been on these farm tours.
Okay.
And we're hoping that we get also people in the community invested hook, line, and sinker into how often do I support local.
Okay.
And whether it's local restaurants or local farms, local vendors who sell honey, but even locally made things, because the power of the local dollar, you see, the part that's missing is we're all supporting somebody's food system. When the 98% of the food that's imported, we keep the minimal amount here for labor, the people who we employ in stores. And the rest of that dollar, 70% of that food dollar that you just spent, goes off island. And so those are the things that tomorrow we intend to raise awareness to, thinking about, where is my food coming from?
Okay.
How much of my money goes to support the Virgin Islands?
So where is this event going to be at?
It is going to be at the Carl and Marie Loetz Museum.
Okay.
If you're interested in finding out more information, let me throw out a phone number. It's 332-0253. Again, I'll repeat, it's 332-0253. There is limited seating, because it's not an infinite number. Our capacity is 80 people.
Okay.
So we have like 10 seats that might still be available for the general public. So if you're interested, please give us a call and come out, because this is our first. So in its sense, this is a Food Learn pilot, and we intend to learn a lot, and we would really like to do things like this at least quarterly, maybe not on such a large scale. So we want to come into schools and use school cafeterias to do some of this education.
Okay.
We want to use local restaurants and have them host a Food Learn day, where we bring youth and their families in, and maybe we have a set menu, and they come in and they have an opportunity to engage while they're educated.
Okay.
And so our goal in 2016 is 4 times.
What do you mean 4 times?
4 times for Food Learn. So quarterly,
Okay, you're going to have a session.
Yeah. What they would look like, it probably won't be on this grand scale. I mean, tomorrow we'll have tents and tables and draping. It's like a mini wedding. But we really wanted to give the youth the opportunity for them to sit down and be really treated as they deserve.
Okay. So what other events that you're going to be participating in when it comes to Dine VI?
I am going to as much of them as possible, because they're all hosted by different organizations.
Okay.
So there's the Reef Responsible event that happens, I believe, on Friday. It's a fish fry, and that's happening at Cheney Bay, and you'll be able to. It's free to the general public, and you'll be able to sample locally fish-based things, but also be educated on reef responsibility, when you should fish for certain fish and when you should leave them alone, so we can keep our fish population up. There's also an evening of wine pairing with Patrick Kralik, and so you can go, and it's kind of like he's gonna have different stations and teach you how you pair wine with meats and cheese and different things.
Okay.
I'm really excited about that. That one is also free.
Okay.
And then there's the food truck night, and I can't wait. That's Friday.
That's Friday.
That's Friday evening, and there's a food truck night, and Pressure is going to be playing.
Tia is going to be there.
Yes, and you get to walk down Chris Frederickstead, the front street. Which
is that Strand?
I
think
believe
that's Strand. That's Strand?
Yeah, I lose in my Crujan card here because I don't know the name of the street.
I call it the Waterfront Street.
Oh, we're going to go with the Waterfront Street. But, you know, and they're going to have all these food trucks line up, and you could sample the cuisine. You could eat, hear some good music. So I'm super, super excited. There's Gospel Sunday.
Okay.
And that's a Sunday brunch. But then there's also on November 2nd, WIM will be having sampling. So if you come to St. Croix Landmark Society, there will be a sampling of saltfish, gundi, some traditional type foods, you know,
local
dumb
food.
bread, bush tea.
Okay.
So you get to come in, you get to taste that, and then you can mosey on down to Bull and Bread and finish off. So you could come out to see WIM early and have a sampling for breakfast, and then, you know, get a tour of the museum and go down to Bull and Bread.
Okay.
But the key component is there's all these restaurants that are online that have their menus up with their set price that you could go in and look at the menu and say, I want to eat here, and go. So it's your chance, you know, to go in and eat to places that you've never eaten before. So there's this list of all these restaurateurs. There's Food Cruise as well, which takes place in the middle of the island.
Food Cruise?
Food Cruise.
Okay.
I don't know the name of the restaurant, but I know it involves IHOP, the catering portion of IHOP, and the new Thai restaurant that are in the middle of the island, but you could sample drinks and cuisine. And so like every part of the island, Christianstead, the mid island, and Frederickstead have been included, so people have the opportunity to participate. And then you still get to go, like if you've never been to a particular restaurant that's online, you still get to go there and eat. Be like, you know what, this is a good time for me to sample their cuisine.
Okay. So is this like a 3-course meal for a certain price?
It is a 3-course meal for a certain
I guess
price.
Everything that is in the meal is grown locally and prepared locally and all that stuff.
And so that's to the maximum extent. One of the things that Good Food talks about is food sovereignty. And food sovereignty really means that you have the right to eat food that is culturally appropriate and locally sourced to the maximum extent. To the maximum extent being, we don't grow green here. So if you go someplace and you're eating something that have rice in it or corn in it, the likelihood that it came from the Virgin Islands,
slim.
So locally sourced to the maximum extent. And with the drought just happening, a lot of our farms have suffered in what they have been able to produce, and even, you know, their livestock. So hopefully they are prepared so that these restaurants had the opportunity to engage in good business with them and share some dollars and get locally sourced things on the plate. So yes, locally sourced to the maximum extent available.
Okay. And so your event tomorrow, is that like the opening event for the whole week of events? Is that a fair assessment there?
It's the first event. I mean, there's no like ribbon cutting and there's like no formal. I would like, in my eyes, it's the opening event. But on the official roster, it's just the first day.
It's just the first day of the event. Okay.
But I think opening anything and kicking off anything with the youth is a auspicious start. We're off to a really good start because, you know, basically, my friend always tells me youth development is community development.
Yes.
And so I think that Dine VI made an excellent choice by placing Food Learn at the front.
Okay.
And I hope this inspires those children to participate as well as their families.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. One of the things I wanted to ask you, I was thinking about, you talked about you spent a lot of your time researching grants. So are there a lot of grants available that you can get in and I guess submit a proposal on against?
Yes.
Okay.
There, I have to say, between USDA, the National Institute for Food and Agriculture, I forget what SARE stands for, but there are a lot of food grants because food is a big deal for the United States right now. Number one, with the realization that the small farm has dropped off the census. We are desperately grappling to create the new small farm.
Okay.
We're looking at food distribution across the world. We're also looking at the extreme weather patterns that are developing.
Yes.
And being able to source food and keep food in a safe way to keep our nation secure. So they're putting a lot of money. They're putting, and also with the intent to create a healthier citizen, because it's like a tree. If the root is rot, ain't gonna bear no fruit.
Yes, yes.
And
yes.
so in taking in account childhood obesity rates, the average obesity rate of a citizen of the United States, and even like specifically here in the Virgin Islands, they're throwing money behind initiatives to make us healthier, to increase small farms, and to eradicate food deserts, places where there isn't any fresh food available. And so yes, there is money. The challenge is, the more money they throw out, the more competitive these grants become. So every grant says this is a competitive process. So now the Virgin Islands is going up against every other,
like this, each individual state,
and nonprofit,
Okay.
and all the nonprofits who share the same ideals, trying to get money to rectify their situation. So yes, there's a lot of money, but they're competitive, and the challenge for a lot of these grants is that they require a match. A 35% match, some of it which can be in kind, but you know, finding a dollar for dollar match, because some say a dollar for dollar, some ask for 35%, having the resources to have that match available when a person says, hey, I want to go after a grant.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
So what is like President Obama's initiative when it comes to food and growing food and food for kids in school and all that stuff? You know, like there's any like an initiative statement, and then that has to be pushed all the way down.
So, well, in the Obama administration, what I do know, I can't tell you what President Obama's initiative statement is. I do know Michelle Obama was huge in the Chef Moves to School.
Yes.
Trying to pair chefs with schools. She was also huge in the Let's Move. So those two things together were to target childhood obesity and kind of change health patterns. What his administration has done, however, though, is they've created within USDA a farm to school program.
Okay.
Never before did a farm to school program exist. And they have specifically put aside monies to support the development of nutrition and garden-based education through a competitive grant process. We have a farm to school rep. We fall in the Mid-Atlantic region, and our farm to school rep, she came down when we had the conference.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, and so they're trying to help us get our schools on track, so we can start shifting our students' palates towards fresh fruits and vegetables. There's a fresh fruit and vegetable program that is sponsored by the Department of Defense. And they're willing to put some money. So they've shifted their monies to saying, I'm willing to support local. I'm willing to buy your local fruit and vegetables and feed that to your children, infusing dollars into your
local economy.
Local economy. So that's, I don't know what his statement was, but his actions definitely allowed for the creation of a sustainable farm to school program within the U.S. Department of Agriculture.
Okay. So here in the Virgin Islands, are we making any advancements towards better food, lunch for children here in school? I mean, it's been some time since I've been to school here, but I mean, you know, is it getting better? I mean, are they getting more lettuce and tomato instead of, you know, bread and cheese?
So I would answer, I can't answer on behalf of the department, but I would answer, I think we are making advancements every day. I think the challenge with our school lunch program, however, is a lot of what we eat, USDA, because we receive their money, prescribes what you have to feed the children. So there's the menus. Your menu has to contain this, this, and this. You could put whatever it is, but you have to have one red, one orange, one green, this amount of meat, this amount of grain. They have a standard recipe for what they think creates a healthy meal, and you have to follow it. Secondly, a lot of the things that we get also come from their commodities program. So they subsidize the rice and the grain and all those things through the USDA commodities program. And so when you look at the plate, the children aren't accustomed of eating brown rice or whole wheat pasta. I do have to say, I'm sure there are still many challenges, but what we forget is sometimes advancement doesn't look immediate in the front.
Okay.
You know, I do believe that there's working and changing happening in the background and trying to shift to make the meals more palatable and still meet the USDA guidelines.
Okay.
So I believe that that work is happening all the time, and include collaborations with the Department of Agriculture to get local produce on there. But like I said, with advancement, what's happening in the back don't always be the picture in the front.
In the front, that's
just now.
Just you're seeing, yeah.
And what I will say is that we have a lot of work in developing farms and farmers to have the amount of food we would need to provide and source locally.
Oh, okay, I got you.
You know, in the quantities needed,
so
that every school would have fresh cucumber, every school will have locally grown pumpkin. You know, so we have work to do on either sides, making sure that our school kitchens can handle it, looking at the infrastructure, the equipment,
yes.
You know, doing trainings, because they'd be doing things different. But I believe that all of those steps, like I no longer work for the Department of Education, so I can't speak for them.
Yes.
But I believe that those things, those movements are working.
Yeah. Okay. So let me ask you about the Dine VI experience again. So tell our viewers one more time, you know, like your event and where it's at and what time and all this, all the demographic stuff that we would need to know.
All right, so Food Learn happens tomorrow, Wednesday, October 28th. For school children who have been pre-selected, it starts from 9. They meet at UVI and it goes at 2. So from 9 o'clock they're at UVI, 10 o'clock they leave for a farm tour, and lunch is at the Carl and Marie Lowette's Museum. It's a 3-course lunch provided by Chef Frank Pugliese, and that takes place from 12 to 2. For the general public who is interested in sharing lunch with us, tickets will be on sale there. It's $35. We are starting lunch promptly at 12:15 because we know you have to get back to work. It's going to be a great collaborative lunch where there's lots of conversations happening about food and food policy. If you're interested in finding out more information, you can call 332-0253. The reason why we're doing this is so that we can begin to raise awareness that food is commonplace. Food is everybody's business, it's everybody's job, and if we're going to agriculture, or the development of our agricultural system really is going to take a hold.
Yeah, and I would think too that, I don't know if you heard yesterday that one of these organizations, I think it's one of them, said that processed meat is causing cancer. I don't know if you have you heard that?
I saw it on Facebook. There was a picture of chicken, and someone said that USDA or some government agency, no, it's the FDA, finally admitted that chicken has carcinogenic agents.
Yeah.
I saw the picture on Facebook.
But yeah, when I saw that, my first thought was, you know, I mean, good, then it should be in a mad push to start growing more. You know, forget about chickens. We just need 100 more cucumbers and 100 more lettuce. I mean, this should be the you know, the push, I think, to get us going on that, you know.
So once you do the community food assessment and it looks at numbers, it will tell us, because it's self-reporting, but it will give us a better idea of how many cucumbers the Virgin Islands consumes in a year, like, you know, the households consume, and at what price point they're paying for it. How much chicken do I eat? How much lettuce do I eat? You know, how much rice am I eating? How much flour do I buy? Because some of it is, tell me what you're shopping and how often. Tell me what you're purchasing and how often.
Okay.
And, you know, there'll also be price point questions like, how much are you willing to pay for produce?
Okay.
So that gives us an idea when we tell farmers, look, we surveyed 500 people, and those 500 people ate 100 pounds of cucumbers in the course of the year. So now we can multiply it, and we kind of quantify it and give it a number.
Okay.
So we have an idea when we're talking cucumber production. This is how much we would need. And then the question becomes, when we're looking at sustainability, can we grow this in a year?
Okay.
If we can't, that's fine. We get to figure out, okay, so the next 5 years, 2% of the cucumbers consumed by the general public, the Virgin Islands can supply.
Okay.
Now we want to source the other cucumbers regionally.
Oh, okay.
And look at who's close to us. Because when I talk about food hub, think about the source being in the center, and we should grow out in diameter.
Okay.
So the Virgin Islands, and then we go to Puerto Rico, and then we go to Florida, and then we go to Atlanta. But it gives us an opportunity to develop good food relations.
Okay.
So I want your cucumber, but you can have my mango.
Okay.
And we share the cost on a plane.
Okay.
So I'm not footing the bill of importing all of this.
Yeah.
So because now we begin to have regional conversations with people who are close to us, who share the same food identity or more the same food identity,
Okay.
which gives value to some of our crops.
So it's kind of like food bartering, I guess.
Yeah,
You know.
it's really, all of this is about relationships.
Okay.
And so we need to develop food relationships and so we need to know who we are culturally and currently, not that we used to eat fungi and fish, because yes, fungi and fish, those are the things that we would call a cultural dish or kalalu. But what is every home identifying with as the new norm of what they eat?
Okay, I got you.
So we could create healthy food relationships and see how we can start to export. Do you know there's international markets in every major city? When I went to Atlanta, the first thing I see is Kennep. We have Kennep knocking dog. Why aren't we building a relationship to export to an international market? They had tamarind pulp.
But they're not growing Kennep in Atlanta. I mean, I would assume that.
So they imported it from somewhere.
Okay.
Which means that if we were having food conversations with people in Atlanta,
They would be coming from here.
We could start having business conversations where, that Kennep is a market where a person who have Kennep trees, they could go ahead and figure out, what relationship I need to have to export. They had tamarind pulp.
Yes.
We got tamarind tree all summer, tamarind just falling, mango pulp. So if we don't have mango grade to sell, we could turn it into the pulp or the concentrate for juice. Coconut water in abundance, every single type. There was like 10 varieties of coconut water. Jackfruit, breadfruit, like things that we have here. And I was like, we should be building a relationship with international markets, because the international market in Atlanta, the one that I went to, I looked up to see if the VI flag was there, because they had flags from all over the world. These are relationships.
Was our flag there?
No, I didn't see it.
Wow, that's not good.
No, I didn't see it. So if somebody lives in Atlanta and the flag is in any of your international markets, text in, call in, and correct me, but I didn't see it. But I think it should be there, and it should be in the international market in DC and the one in Miami, and wherever in the United States we have one, because those are hardy things that we have in excess, and it would just take a concerted effort to collect. We need a processing center, a nationally certified one.
Okay.
But there's opportunity.
Opportunity there for that kind of stuff to happen. Well, I hope it happens soon, because all this stuff will definitely bring revenue into the community here, and kind of get things going. We need that push. Sommer, I just want to say to you real quick, it's about 9:07, and so we always ask our guests, is there anything that I forgot to ask, anything that you need to mention?
What I would like to mention is food is everyone's responsibility. Good food is everybody's right. And so if you're interested in finding out how you can contribute, volunteer, help, share our message, feel free to email goodfoodcoalition.vi@gmail.com, or contact us at 332-0253.
And that area code is 340. You got to say the area code for our international viewers.
0253, and I look forward to having good food with you.
Okay, and one more time real quick, just run through tomorrow's event.
Tomorrow's event is Food Learn. It takes place at the Carlin Marie Lowette's Museum for the general public. It is from 12 to 2. There is limited seating, but if you are interested, please call us at 340-332-0253. And also, if you want to give a donation to Good Food or give a donation to a school-based garden or a farm, you can also contact us, because we are accepting donations.
All right. Our guest tonight is Sommer Sibilly-Brown. She is the Executive Director for Virgin Islands Good Food Coalition. Sounds like a lot of good stuff going on there. Good food, and get the farmers involved and everybody involved, just to get some good fresh stuff on our plates, So I just want to say real quick that this is the It's Your Perspective Talk Show every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 8 p.m. until it's about 9 or 9 p.m. I think we have a show tomorrow night. I got to look at the schedule. But as you talked about Tia and Pressure on Friday, we'll be down there as well, just kind of hanging out, taking some pictures and that kind of stuff. Should be fun. They're having the big food truck. Melody Rains was here last night. The big food truck. What did she call that? Food truck event. I forget exactly what it's called, but it was a long set of words there. But on Friday, it's a food truck event at the waterfront in Frederiksted, St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands. So once again, I'd like to thank our guest tonight, Miss Brown, Miss Sommer Brown. Thank you for coming out. And as we like to say, that you're always welcome in our studio here. You're a part of the family now. So if you have anything coming up in the future, again, just let us know, and we'll definitely have you on the show again.
Thank you. It was a pleasure being here.
Okay. Thank you. We're out. We'll see you guys, if not tomorrow, on Thursday. All right? Peace.
Wow.